Della Duck is now back on Earth, but how will she adjust? Welcome to another DuckTales 2017 review. I'm John Barry, and today I'm reviewing DuckTales Season 2, Episode 12, Nothing Can Stop Della Duck. In this episode, Della is reunited with her family and has finally met her kids, and vice versa. But before I continue, if you find yourself enjoying this review, please leave a like. Also, to stay up to date on all my stuff, consider following me on social media. You can also check out my website. Links are in the description. And my question for you today is, what did you think of Nothing Can Stop Della Duck? Let me know your answer in the comments down below. Now back to my review. So, this episode, as I said, Della meets her family again. And, of course, so we see her trying to get, her entering McDuck Manor. And, of course, she, attempted to jump over the gate. And then, remember that she was on Earth and not on the moon, so gravity is stronger on Earth. And so she climbs it, and then when she gets to the she before she knocks, first impressions, she wants to have the right intro. To introduce herself to her children. So we see a couple that are going through her, practicing different ones. And then, of course, the scene switches to inside McDuck Manor, and we see, Scrooge and then Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby all preparing to go for an adventure with a quill called the Photographer. Not a photographer. It's basically, I forget the exact name of it, but basically a cartographer's quill. So it will draw maps to treasures, which is quite impressive. And of course, it's all about the treasure at that point, and the treasure, the adventure, the quest, the mysteries, the daring, that stuff. And of course, each directed to a specific one of those 4 characters. And then Scrooge opens the door, and then Della makes her introduction. And of course, she didn't knock at that point. She was about to head outside, which I thought was kind of neat. And then he just freezes there, and then when Della says, I think it was hello, Uncle Scrooge, something like that, he drops the quill and it shatters. I think that's pretty powerful imagery right there. And of course, also, kind of teary eyes they also saw in multiple times throughout this episode, as you want to say. But I really like that his family meant more to him than the quill, which could lead him to treasure. That, I think, is some good imagery right there, and he just, he drops it, it shatters. And he doesn't even bring it up again. And of course, they had the moment of reuniting, and then a little bit of, scolding, as obviously he was the one who raised Della and Donald. Makes me wonder about their parents. I am actually curious. Maybe they'll get into that later on. I don't know. But let's head back into the episode itself. And then of course, Huey, Dewey, and Louie kind of from the framing of the episode, and that makes it appear like they backed up a little bit, not quite sure. Could just been the animators putting them in a different area, I'm not quite sure. But Dewey is really the first one to approach Della, which makes sense. He was the one most obsessed with finding out what happened to her in season 1, so it makes sense. He will be the first one to, to hug her, and then Huey comes around pretty quickly. It takes Louie the entire episode, which is one of the challenges she needs to overcome. And then basically the big challenge of this episode really is Della learning how to be a mother to her children who are used to not having a mother. And she hasn't had any practice with it. So that's essentially where most of the episode goes. And then, of course, she tries to impress her children. She wants to impress them, make a good impression. Which in a way kind of backfires, but Huey and Dewey clearly identify that it's Della Duck trying her best, that they know that she just wants to be a good mother to them. She just doesn't know how. They've identified it. Louis is a bit more unsure of his emotions, as I said earlier, and there's one thing where they're all talking, Huey, Dewey, Louie, Webby, Scrooge, and Mrs. Beakley. They're all there discussing the situation with Della and how she's not yet adjusted. Like, Louis is the only one who's truly apprehensive during all of this, which they set up before, and it kind of is, you need one person who's, you're about 10 years old, and you have had it, you never knew what happened to your mother, then you find out, and you're pretty sure she's not ever coming back, because she's lost, and perhaps even dead, you don't know. So, yeah. So it makes sense. Oh, this is a bit off from where I am, but I do want to say, when Scrooge heard that Della was on the moon, he said, "I searched the moon!" Of course, in a Scottish accent, which I can't do, but it's like, and Della retorts, apparently not hard enough. But it is kind of interesting to say the least. And of course, bunch of other things as well go on in the episode. Oh, and then when Della sees Mrs. Beakley, she remarks Agent 22, harking back to Mrs. Beakley's past, and like, "You're the housekeeper now, what happened to Duck Wolf?" And of course, Mrs. Beakley responds, that Duck Wolf moved on. And it kind of has a double meaning. Moved on could mean, just got a different job, or passed away, and then of course, Duck Wolf appears in comments that, wherever he's at has less cobwebs, which I thought was just hilarious. But besides sidetrack over, it's a sidetrack over, the first night, Della tells her, Huey, Dewey, and Louie a bedtime story, because realizing they're probably a bit too old for fairy tales, she tells them a different story, and it gives them nightmares. Again, kind of showing she's not quite sure what to do yet. And of course, so they all can't sleep because they're scared, obviously. But what she tells in that story comes back into play at the climax of the episode, which is a nice connection with, it's good, I think. It's basically El Dorado and a gold monster android type thing that she defeated once, and if it comes back alive, it'll seek revenge on her and her family. Not maybe the best story to tell her kids, especially before bed. And then, of course, she mentions that somewhere in the garage. And then, of course, and I mentioned that scene earlier where all the other characters except Della is talking about Della and how she needs more time to adjust, her uncertainties and all that. She overhears all of it, including Scrooge says she's not a mother, and she leaves, but she didn't hear Scrooge's, she's not a mother yet. No, saying that she needs more time, she needs to adjust. She didn't hear that. And so she wanders into the room and accidentally kicks that thing, and it comes to life. And then Scrooge comes and, what is going on, and which I really like this the most, he said, "I really need to put a lock on this door." And of course, there's Fiend looking around for something to help, and of course Scrooge says, "We've used a lot of that stuff already." And then of course, so it goes on a rampage and all that. And eventually is defeated, and she manages to defeat it by working with her children. And then of course she jumps as a mechanical gold thing, and we forget what it's called, is falling down. And then, of course, Huey and Dewey are able to get far enough away, but not Louie and Della as well. It's a very fast-paced scene, so some of the timing I might need a second viewing to really understand, another viewing to really grasp what's going on, when, where, and how long it's taking. But essentially, she goes into, her mother, her being a mother really comes through the motherly instinct to protect her children. And that's what really helps Louie come around. I should also mention, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were not her first choice of names, and and like her original names are like Jet, Turbo, Rebel. Like obviously probably not the best names. And she said that she even wrote them down in case nobody can understand Donald. But obviously Donald gave them the names Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Which makes sense, but it does kind of show that where she, who knows what happened. She has stayed where Don had been able to convince her of different names otherwise. Who knows? I really don't know for sure. Of course, there's a lot more going on in this episode as well. There was one good thing. Oh, what was it? Oh yeah, when Della realized that Donna wasn't there, she asked where's Donald, and they told her that they sent him on a month-long relaxing cruise, which was like right before Della came back, which is just amazing to say the least. But and then her response like, oh man, I forget her response, but it was just great. It was something along the lines of, oh. No, just missing his sister coming back, something along those lines. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. There were many exciting parts. And in my last review, you may have noticed I predicted that Donald would probably end up on the moon. He did. At the very end, we do find that out. And of course, the moon people take him prisoner. And of course, after he puts the oxy chew so he can breathe in that. And of course, he tells them, I come in peace, but they can't understand him. And like, what is he saying? Like, they literally don't understand his speech at all. It's not like they're interpreting it as a potential threat or anything, they just don't know. And then, of course, General Lunaris, or wherever he is, of course, says to arrest him. I'm interested in where this goes, but I have a feeling the moon people will be where the bulk of the episode will head. That's who's going to be the big bad that season, kind of like how Magica was last season's. And we'll hope in season we get to see more of Magica. I forgot to mention this, but in the 87-cent solution we do find out that Magica is still missing. Like, they don't know where she is at. But that's outside this episode. I just thought I'd mention it real quick. So, before I finish up this video has been made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Patreon is a platform that allows fans to directly support their favorite creators. By supporting me on Patreon for as low as $1 a month, not only are you supporting me and allowing me to create new and better content, but you will also get access to my scripts, my bloopers, and any other cut content from my channel. Now time to finish up my review. So this episode came out right by Mother's Day. And same thing with from the previous episode, The Golden Spear, which is another one featuring Della. All right around Mother's Day weekend. And I think that was done on purpose by Disney. Especially this episode being... I watched it the Monday after Mother's Day. I don't know, I can't remember if it came out Monday or Sunday. But regardless, it was right here by Mother's Day, which I think was done on purpose because in this episode, it's not so much, no. You would think like a Mother's Day episode would be, the children serving their mother breakfast in bed, but in a way it's kind of like what it means to be a mother, how the adjustment to being a mother, especially for somebody who maybe has missed out the formative years of their children's life. And that's what I think what this episode really is getting at. More than just the mothers get breakfast in bed and they're special to their children. They're special to their children, definitely, but we get a more emotional story with what they've done here for Mother's Day, which I think was an excellent choice on the part of the creators. And then also I should also say there is a scene where Della goes into Donald's housebook and sees all the pictures throughout time of Donald raising Huey, Dewey, and Louie and realize that he did a good job. And then of course she sees a picture of Launchpad, and Launchpad comes in and to introduce himself introduces himself as a pilot, which freaks out about and goes to complain to Scrooge. And I don't think she actually does end up doing that, because that's when the meeting scene with all the other characters except for Launchpad, because I don't know what he's doing. But yeah. So that's what happens there. But it's kind of like she is the pilot. I have a feeling there's gonna be an episode that will put Della and Launchpad head to head with piloting. The other thing, I'd rather have Della Duck as my pilot than Launchpad as my pilot. But I'm pretty sure that is going to be a future episode. And I really can't wait to see that. So yeah, thank you for watching my latest review. I have new videos coming out every week, so consider subscribing. And if you want YouTube to notify you, please ring the bell, because that's the only way YouTube knows that you want to be notified when your subscriptions release new content. Who knows what YouTube is doing and why they do that, I guess. But it's there for you. And also, feel free to check out the video or playlist on the screen. Lastly, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.